How's it going, everyone? And welcome to my 2021 Honda CRF450R bike build. I'm sure a lot of you, like me, when you first saw the 21 Honda come out, you were a kid in the candy shop, at least I was. And if you guys haven't yet, you can watch my first impressions where I ride this completely bone stock. I go over my thoughts and what I think of it in that form. And I'm not gonna say I was disappointed with this Honda, because to me, this bike is better than the previous version in just about every single way. I think it's one of the best cornering bikes that is out there. The ergonomics are fantastic. If you ask any rider, they'll probably tell you that the Honda is one of their favorites as far as the ergos go. But there were some things that Honda, in my opinion, definitely missed the mark on. The mapping on this bike is just not good. And the suspension for me was just too soft. It was divey, it felt a little bit harsh when I was starting to push the bike and get into some rougher, bigger bumps. But the good news is that those two things are fixable, and we have addressed those in this build. And aside from that, this bike is actually really, really good. So we're gonna go through, we'll talk about what I think you should do, every owner of a 21 Honda owner should do right off the bat. And then we'll talk about some things that I've done on here that are nice to have if you have the budget, maybe you're gonna be racing. And then we'll just talk about some other items on here that, just look cool and add a little bit of functionality to the bike as well. First things first, suspension. When I got this and I rode it stock, the suspension wasn't terrible, but it's pretty soft. And for me, being at about 180 pounds and at my level of an intermediate, it was, I would blow through the stroke too quickly. It was okay on some of the smaller chop, but as soon as you got too far into the stroke, it just started to have a harsh feel. There just wasn't enough hold up there. That goes for the fork. Same thing for the shock. It had a pretty light spring rate in the rear too. And same thing, you'd come through a corner, you'd be in some rough areas and it would just blow through. And whether you're casing a jump or if you're gonna go long and over jump it, that's not good because one, it doesn't feel good when you blow through your suspension. And also you really don't know how the bike's gonna react when you're bottoming out. And because all that energy is gonna, instead of going through the suspension, goes back into the bike and the chassis and could deflect the motorcycle. So what we did is we went with Race Tech. If you guys don't know, we actually sell their gold valves on our website for the forks and shock. And what's cool about Race Tech with their gold valves is the big thing that they preach is that it allows more oil flow with their gold valve, and they rely more on the valving stack to control the dampening versus using the actual piston to control the dampening, which is what you get on most stock motorcycles. So we did the Race Tech gold valves, and if you guys aren't aware, what's really cool about those is that we sell them and you can buy them and actually do your suspension from your own house. We have an awesome how-to video that shows you step-by-step how to do that, so it saves you money not having to ship your suspension off and pay somebody else to do it for you. So if you want to learn about your suspension and just have it improved, get the Race Tech gold valves. Now, as far as how they feel riding, night and day improvement. This motorcycle will feel completely different once you've done your suspension because you're gonna get a valve for your weight, your skill level, and the type of riding that you're going to be doing once you enter in all that information on their website. And for me, it just does what I would want. It has a nice plush feel up top. It absorbs the small choppy stuff good. It feels good coming out of ruts, even with a lot of acceleration chop. I don't get that harsh feel in the shock. And there's plenty of hold up. So I can over jump something. I can come up short and case something. The suspension soaks it all up. I don't get that deflective feel like I'm bottoming out. And overall, it makes the bike handle a whole lot better. So trust me, with this 21 Honda, unless maybe, depending on your skill level and your weight, you feel like it's good, sounds great. But for most riders, that's definitely one thing that I would recommend. Second thing that I would tell you to do with this bike is the mapping. Now, I'm sure most of you have watched other first impressions, mine included. We all talk about it. This bike is just mapped rich. It's dirty down low. It has a boggy feel to it right when you crack the throttle. Now, I've heard that Honda ran out of time as far as development goes, so they didn't get around to getting that refined. But it's kind of a bummer. If you're buying a $10,000 dirt bike, I don't think you should have to go redo the mapping right away. But that's just what we're left with the 21 Honda. I'm sure that for 2022, they're gonna refine it and address those issues. But this is what we have for 21. And with the stock mapping, like I said, it's rich, it's dirty down low. I didn't like it. I would come into corners. I couldn't pull third gear out of most corners just because it would bog down. It didn't build power very quickly. It didn't matter if I was in map 1, 2, or 3. So the good news is that you can fix it. On our website, we sell the Honda FI Tuner. And that is a tool that you can use to update the mapping on your motorcycle. We have a great how-to video that shows you step-by-step how to use that, how to plug it in your bike, how to go in there and change the values on your maps. And we even have maps for you. We went through and actually dyno tuned this motorcycle. We put on the dyno, we looked at the stock mapping, and I'm not gonna lie, we actually got a little bit of a laugh out of it because of how just not good the stock mapping was. It was way too rich. So we went through, we cleaned it all up. We got a nice linear power curve all the way through. It cleans up that bog, that dirty feeling. Now, when I rode this for the first time, it was pretty incredible, the noticeable difference. I can pull third gear out of corners now. It has a good hit down low, but it's still a smooth power, but it just gets rid of all the issues that you have with the mapping. So if you have one of these and you're not digging what they've done, then do yourself a favor, buy that FI tuner. And we actually have two maps available. There's the map 3, which is your more aggressive map, and then there's a map 2, which is a little bit more mellow, so you still get 2 maps to use. Map 1, unfortunately, is still locked. You can't change that. That's just how Honda did it, but you get 2 good maps. And the good news is, with that FI tuner, yeah, it's a pretty pricey tool. You're gonna be around 500 bucks, but once you've done it to your motorcycle, you can still use it for other Honda dirt bikes. If you have somebody else that has a 21, hey, if they want to have their bike remapped, say, you know what, I've already bought the tool, give me some cash, I'll remap your bike for you so you can get some of that money back. But that to me is way more important with the mapping versus going out and buying a shiny new exhaust or any other things. I would get that done first. Now, as you guys can see, I have the Hinson Bulletproof Clutch on here. So this is the full clutch system. You've got the basket, hub, pressure plate, the cover, as well as the clutch pack. Now, if you're a guy that rides at a high level and maybe you're racing, you're hard on clutches, if you're looking for the most performance, cooling, and durability possible, then a full clutch system, bulletproof from Hinson, would be a really good investment. However, this is not an investment or an upgrade that I think most riders need to make. The stock clutch on the Honda is actually good. You have their new Nissan hydraulic clutch. It's got a nice, easy clutch pull to it. It's consistent. What I love is you do not have to adjust your clutch cable. But if you want to add a little bit more durability and longevity to your clutch, what I would recommend if you're more on a budget is do a clutch basket and an outer clutch cover. Clutch basket being built aluminum, it's not gonna get all notched out like your stock baskets will, so it just won't be as notchy, as grabby, it'll just last you longer. And then with an outer cover, that's just gonna add durability, so maybe a rocker or a foot peg doesn't wanna go through and bust through your clutch cover, which has happened to me before. So if you're, again, higher level rider, you're gonna be racing a lot, you want durability, the most cooling, I'd go with the full clutch system. But if you're on a budget, just looking for a little bit more performance and longevity, I would say a clutch basket and a cover would be the 2 things that I would buy as far as a clutch system is concerned. So next up, controls, and these are items where this is really just gonna boil down to rider preference. You don't have to change out your controls if you're happy with how they come, but I'll just kind of show you what I have and what I like about each item. So first up, as far as bars and grips go, I've got the ODI bars on here. I actually like the stock bend of the handlebars that come on the Honda, and so I stuck with that. So the ODI bend that I have on here is the KTM bend. It's the KTM 16 to 19 bend, which I like. It's a little bit less sweep. I've got the ODI lock-on no waffle grips. I have small hands. I like the thinnest feeling grip possible. And for riders that ask me, what grip feels the thinnest, this to me is one of the best out there. And if you haven't used lock-on grips before, they're incredible. No safety wire, no grip glue needed. You just slap them on there and you're ready to go. So love those. Up here for my brake lever, I have the Arc brake lever. Look, I've used a lot of different levers in my lifetime, and to me, I think Arc just has some of the best out there. I love the feel, the bend is just spot on. I like the texture that they use on these levers as well. They don't have one yet available for the clutch side, but you can bet that when they do, I'm gonna pick up a clutch lever as well. It is a breakaway lever, so if you're like me and you happen to tip over a little bit more than we want to, it breaks away, so you don't have to worry about that breaking on you. Now, one item that I do have on here that I've had on all my bikes for many years that I love is the Ride Engineering one-piece handlebar mount. Now, there are some bikes that do come stock with a one-piece bar mount, but if you don't have one, I think this is an awesome upgrade because, in most cases when you go down, even something as simple as a tip over, your handlebars get twisted. So this one-piece clamp has a lot more torsional rigidity. So if you do go down, especially in a race situation, the last thing you want to do is get up with bent handlebars or they're crooked. So with this, it just keeps the bars straighter if you were to go down. So for me, really good upgrade to have. Now down here, as far as foot pegs go, I've got the Tusk billet aluminum foot pegs. These are oversized, they're a bigger platform than stock foot pegs, which I like. I like a nice big foot peg that's got a lot of grip to it. The cleats are replaceable and they're super lightweight because they're billet aluminum. And then on top of those, another accessory that not everyone has to have, but I think make a huge difference and they're inexpensive, are the Cherries foot peg covers. Slides right over your foot peg if you've ever gone through a deep rut, only to find out that your foot peg is stuck straight up in the air because mud packed up underneath it. Get some of these and that won't happen. Now, up in the front, a couple items I like. Extra wheel set. I've got the Tusk Impact wheels on here, black rims, the white hubs. Again, this isn't something that you have to have, but trust me, I would say at least get yourself a rear wheel. Can't tell you how many times I've been in the track or just out riding, got a flat tire, and it's so nice to be able to just change out a rear tire or rear wheel versus having to take mine off, change out a tube, and then get it back on there. A lot faster, a lot easier. Deal with that flat tire when you get back to your house. But if you want to go all in, the Impacts are an awesome set of wheels, super strong, very durable, awesome price point, and I think nothing makes a bike look better than just having a nice set of aftermarket wheels on there. On those, I have the new Tusk MX T35 tires. It's a brand new tire from Tusk that we did a lot of testing with. It's a soft intermediate tire. This tire, bang for your buck, when it comes to value, is the best tire that is out there. It's affordable, it does well in the soft intermediate conditions, it's predictable, a lot of grip, a lot of confidence in these. You can watch my first impressions, but if you're looking for a good set of tires that aren't gonna cost you around $100 for just a rear, I would definitely check out the T35s. As far as drive components go, I've got the primary drive gold MX race chain. I've got primary drive sprocket in the rear. Still running the stock gearing with this, which is a 49 tooth. Now, this is kind of going back to that mapping. If you don't want to deal with the mapping, one thing you could do is maybe go to a 50 tooth sprocket. I think that would help out a little bit as far as just that grunt down low. But if you get the mapping fixed, then I would just stick with the 49 tooth sprocket. Now up in the front, if you're gonna be racing, you gotta have a whole shot device. So I've got the Sella from Pro Taper, that stands for Self-Engaged Launch Assist. Pretty cool whole shot device, it's brand new from these guys. Super popular already, and what's cool about it is that it allows you to set it without the help from somebody else. So I've actually used this, it works great. So if you're looking for a whole shot device where somebody doesn't have to help you, the Sella would be the one that I would go tell you to get. Then from there, again, it wouldn't be a bike build if we didn't have some cool looking parts on here just to give it a factory look. So I've got the Tusk brake pedal on here. I've got the shift lever. I've even got some titanium fork protector bolts from Works Connection, as well as my axle adjuster bolts. And of course, to top it all off, some anodized components from Tusk and an Attack Graphics full customized kit. This is just the team graphic that we have from the Rocky Mountain team. We changed it up just ever so slightly, and I think it looks awesome on this bike. And that does it. That is my bike build for the 2021 Honda 450. Hopefully this has kind of helped you guys know what direction and what things are most important to do if you do have one of these bikes, and just some other ideas that might be cool. There are some things that I would like to get on here. One being a seat cover. Just being a new bike, sometimes certain things aren't available too quickly after they come out. The Honda seat cover, in my opinion, is just pretty slippery, and I know an aftermarket seat cover has always been one of my favorite upgrades, just to get a lot more grip when you're sitting down on the bike. But aside from that, like I said, the Honda, it's an incredible bike. Yes, the mapping is garbage from the factory, but you can get that addressed. And if you don't like how soft the suspension is, or if you just want to fine tune yours and get it set up, customized for you, check out the Racetech Gold Valves, watch that how-to video, and save yourself some money. If you guys have questions or comments, if you want some more feedback, I would love to give that to you, so make sure to leave your questions in your comments below. To see all the things that we have done to this bike, along with all the other components that we do carry for the Honda, click on the link or just head to RockyMountainATVMC.com. On our homepage, you enter the make, model, and the year of your bike, and it will show you everything that will fit that exact model. If you guys like this bike build, make sure to get subscribed to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel. Stay up to date. I am Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.